All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says government is taking concrete steps to strengthen startup ecosystem in India. 16th January to be celebrated as National Startup Day. India marks the first anniversary of launch of nationwide vaccination drive against COVID-19 today. Vaccination coverage approaching 157 crore mark. Ban on physical rallies and road shows in 5 poll-bound states extended till 22nd of January. Home Minister Amit Shah says excessive use of chemical fertilizers will increase the risk of cancer by 50% in the next 15 years. In Under-19 Cricket World Cup, India beat South Africa by 45 runs in the group opener. And in India Open Badminton, Lakshya Sen to play men's singles final against Loh Keen Yew of Singapore in New Delhi today. As the number of COVID-19 cases is rising fast in several parts of the country, we appeal to our listeners to be vigilant and to get fully vaccinated and help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, get vaccinated. With the new Omicron variant of coronavirus causing concern, please continue to follow the 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with the startups of the country through video conferencing yesterday. On the occasion, the Prime Minister announced 16th January to be celebrated as National Startup Day. He said the country's startups are the backbone of New India.
जब भारत अपनी आजादी के 100 वर्ष पूरे करेगा, उस भव्य भारत के निर्माण में आपकी भूमिका बहुत बड़ी है। देश के उन सभी स्टार्टअप्स को, सभी इनोवेटिव युवाओं को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं जो स्टार्टअप्स की दुनिया में भारत का झंडा बुलंद कर रहे हैं। स्टार्टअप्स का ये कल्चर देश के दूर दराज तक पहुंचे, इसके लिए 16 जनवरी को अब नेशनल स्टार्टअप डे के रूप में मनाने का फैसला भी किया गया है।
Mr. Modi said the year 2022 has brought several possibilities for the startup ecosystem in the country. He said the golden era of India's startups is starting now. He said this decade is being called the Tech Age of India, and the government is taking concrete steps to strengthen the innovation, entrepreneurship and startup ecosystem across the country. Mr. Modi said investment on research and development of future technology is the priority of the government. The Prime Minister said, our effort is to institutionalize innovation in the young minds since childhood to create interest for innovation.
भारत आज अपने युवाओं के इस सामर्थ्य को पहचानते हुए नीतियां बना रहा है, निर्णय लागू कर रहा है। हमने अनेकों हैकेथॉन्स का आयोजन करके नौजवानों को अपने साथ जोड़ा है। सरकार के अलग अलग विभाग, अलग अलग मंत्रालय नौजवानों और स्टार्टअप के साथ संपर्क में रहते हैं, उनके नए आइडियाज को प्रोत्साहित करते हैं, चाहे नए ड्रोन रूल्स हो या फिर नई स्पेस पॉलिसी। सरकार की प्राथमिकता ज्यादा से ज्यादा युवाओं को इनोवेशन का मौका देने की है।
Mr. Modi said India has improved its rank in global innovation ranking by reaching the 46th position. He said 42 unicorns have emerged in the country in the last year, and India is rapidly moving to hit the century of unicorns.
इनोवेशन को लेकर भारत में जो अभियान चल रहा है, उसी का प्रभाव है कि ग्लोबल इनोवेशन इंडेक्स में भी भारत की रैंकिंग में बहुत सुधार आया है। वर्ष 2015 में इस रैंकिंग में भारत 81 नंबर पर रुका पड़ा था। अब इनोवेशन इंडेक्स में भारत 46 नंबर पर है, 50 से नीचे आया है। साथियों, भारत का स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम आज दुनिया में अपना परचम लहरा रहा है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged students, parents and teachers to register for this year's Pariksha Pe Charcha. In a series of tweets, Mr. Modi said, Pariksha Pe Charcha is a fantastic learning experience and it provides an opportunity to connect with dynamic youth, understand their challenges and aspirations in a better way. He said, it also gives an opportunity to discover the emerging trends in the world of education.
India today marks the first anniversary of the launch of nationwide vaccination drive against COVID-19. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had launched the world's largest vaccine drive to combat the pandemic on this day last year. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister had said, never before in history has this type of a large-scale vaccination campaign been undertaken.
एक वैक्सीन बनाने में बरसों लग जाते हैं, लेकिन इतने कम समय में एक नहीं, दो मेड इन इंडिया वैक्सीन तैयार हुई है। ये भारत के सामर्थ्य, भारत की वैज्ञानिक दक्षता, भारत के टैलेंट का जीता जागता सबूत है, जिसे कोरोना संक्रमण का रिस्क सबसे ज्यादा है, उसे पहले टीका लगेगा। जो हमारे डॉक्टर्स हैं, नर्सेस हैं, अस्पताल में सफाई कर्मी हैं, मेडिकल पैरामेडिकल स्टाफ है, वो कोरोना की वैक्सीन के सबसे पहले हकदार हैं। चाहे वो सरकारी अस्पताल में हो या फिर प्राइवेट में, सभी को ये वैक्सीन प्राथमिकता पर लगेगी।
Vaccination had begun with health workers on 16 January last year. On 2nd February, it opened for frontline workers, followed by a 60-plus age group and those above 45 years with comorbidities from 1st of March. Vaccination for all those above 18 years began from 1st May 2021. The vaccination drive for children in the age group of 15 to 18 years started from 3rd of this month. From 10th of January this year, precautionary dose administration to healthcare and frontline workers and 60-plus individuals commenced. Meanwhile, India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage is approaching 157 crore landmark. Till yesterday, over 156 crore 63 lakh vaccine doses were administered. Health Ministry said more than 57 lakh 29,000 vaccine doses were administered yesterday. Over 42 lakh 69,000 precaution doses for COVID vaccination have been administered so far. Gujarat has reported 9,177 new cases of COVID-19 infections in the last 24 hours. According to the State Health Department, the maximum 2,621 new cases were recorded in Ahmedabad, while Surat recorded 2,215 new cases. The state has 59,564 active cases at the moment. Meanwhile, 1,76,918 doses of vaccine were administered in Gujarat yesterday.
The rise in daily Omicron cases in Telangana continues. Health authorities are reporting 1,963 positive cases. Out of this, 1,075 were from Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation area. The health authorities have also reported 2 COVID-19 fatalities, taking the overall number of deaths in the state to 4,054. Currently, the state has over 22,000 cases, out of which 17,000 cases are from GHMC. Apart from Hyderabad, COVID-19 is also registering a significant increase in other urban centres of Telangana, with authorities reporting 150 positive infections in Medchal Malkajgiri district and 168 cases in Rangareddy district during the past 24 hours. The Election Commission has extended the ban on physical rallies and road shows until the 22nd of this month in 5 poll-bound states of Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Goa and Manipur. The poll body granted relaxation for political parties to the extent of indoor meetings of maximum 300 persons, or 50% of the capacity of the hall, or the prescribed limit set by state disaster management authorities. The Commission has directed political parties to adhere to the provisions of the Model Code of Conduct and the broad guidelines of COVID. The Commission yesterday held separate virtual meetings with Health Ministry, Chief Secretaries and Health Secretaries of poll-bound states. Our correspondent reports that Chief Election Commissioner Sushil Chandra, along with Election Commissioners Rajiv Kumar and Anup Chandra Pandey, held a comprehensive review of present status and projected trends of the COVID pandemic. We have a report.
The Election Commission also discussed SDMA's restrictions and state-specific extent guidelines regulating the norms of gathering of persons during the period of pandemic. After considering the present situation, facts and circumstances as also the inputs received in these meetings, the Commission has directed that no roadshow, padiyatra, cycle, bike or vehicle rally and procession shall be allowed till 22nd January 2022. The Commission will subsequently review the situation and issue further instructions accordingly. No physical rally of political parties or candidates, including probable or any other group related to election, shall be allowed till 22nd of this month. Unpermished, AR News, Delhi.
In Uttar Pradesh, the Election Commission has issued a notice to Samajwadi Party's General Secretary for violation of the Model Code of Conduct and COVID-19 protocol during the virtual rally-cum-press conference held at the party's headquarters in Lucknow on Friday. More from our correspondent.
A large crowd had gathered in the event, which was held to induct former ministers and MLAs of BJP government in the state. The Election Commission had sought a response from the Samajwadi Party within 24 hours, failing which the Commission will take appropriate decision in the matter. Earlier, the Commission had suspended the SHO of Gautampalli Police Station on Friday for gross negligence in discharge of duties. An FIR against the Samajwadi Party has been registered at Gautampalli Police Station in Lucknow for violating the Model Code of Conduct and COVID protocol. Aditya Shukla, AIR News, Gorakhpur.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says government is taking concrete steps to strengthen startup ecosystem in India. 16 January to be celebrated as National Startup Day. India marks the first anniversary of launch of nationwide vaccination drive against COVID-19 today. Vaccination coverage approaching 157 crore mark. Ban on physical rallies and road shows in 5 poll-bound states extended till 22nd January. Home Minister Amit Shah says excessive use of chemical fertilizers will increase the risk of cancer by 50% in the next 15 years. In Under-19 Cricket World Cup, India beat South Africa by 45 runs in the group opener. And in India Open Badminton, Lakshya Sen to play men's singles final against Loh Keen Yew of Singapore in New Delhi today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has said that the use of chemical fertilizers will increase cancer cases by 50% in the next 15 years. In a virtual interaction with farmers of Gujarat, he appealed to the farmers to adopt natural farming. Mr. Shah set a target to encourage 50% of the farmers in his Lok Sabha constituency, Gandhinagar, to give up chemical fertilizers and take up natural farming. Interacting with farmers on natural farming from Gandhinagar, the Home Minister said, due to excess use of chemical fertilizers, the soil is slowly turning barren and poison is reaching underground sources of water. He said the current situation is the result of lack of periodic review of agricultural practices, which has continued since the Green Revolution. Mr. Shah added, natural farming with the use of dung and urine of Indian cow breeds is the only way to restore the productivity of the soil. More than 1,000 farmers of Gandhinagar Lok Sabha constituency were virtually connected with this program. Mr. Shah was on a 2-day visit to Gujarat on the occasion of Makar Sankranti festival. The Union Ministry of Road Transport and Highways will organize a conference on PM Gati Shakti for the South Zone tomorrow to deliberate on its action plans and projects. The virtual event will be inaugurated by Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari. The Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry, Chief Ministers of Karnataka and Puducherry, Minister of State for Road Transport and Highways, V.K. Singh, ministers from various state governments and UTs, and other dignitaries will address the conference.
The Centre has promulgated revised consolidated guidelines and standards for charging infrastructure for electric vehicles on Friday. These guidelines are exhaustive and include provisions for individual owners of electric vehicles as well as public charging stations. In a significant step, owners may charge their electric vehicles at their residence and offices using their existing electricity connections. The guidelines provide that any individual or entity is free to set up public charging stations without the requirement of a license. An exhaustive list of compliance requirements for public charging stations have also been outlined. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in the morning news. The next question of Amrit Mahotsav quiz will be shared with listeners tomorrow. And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember scholar and social reformer Mahadev Govind Ranade, who died on 16th January 1901. He was among the founding members of Indian National Congress.
He also helped establish the Prarthana Samaj, the Pune Sarvajanik Sabha, and Maharashtra Granthotejak Sabha. He also edited a Bombay Anglo-Marathi daily, the Indu Prakash. He worked as a member of the Bombay Legislative Council, member of the Finance Committee, and judge of the Bombay High Court.
Born on 18th January 1842 in Nashik district, Ranade belonged to the first batch of students of University of Bombay. After completing his education, he joined as a subordinate judge at Pune in 1871. Ranade also led an active social and political life, and the British colonial authorities delayed his promotion to the Bombay High Court until 1895.
Ranade led the Indian social reform movement to humanize, equalize and spiritualize the Indian society. In 1861, when he was still a teenager, Ranade co-founded the Widow Marriage Association, which promoted marriage for Hindu widows. Through the Prarthana Samaj, he championed upholding the devotional aspect of Hinduism while denouncing rigid social structures and customs.
He founded the Social Conference movement, directing his social reform efforts against child marriage, caste restrictions on travelling abroad, and advocating widow remarriage and female education. He campaigned against the Parda system.
Ranade has been called the father of Indian economics for urging the British government to initiate industrialization and state welfare programs. Ranade inspired many other Indian social reformers, most notably the educator and legislator Gopal Krishna Gokhale, who carried on Ranade's reform work after his death on 16 January 1901. We salute the great Indian.
শরতে এলে শরৎচন্দ্র সাহিত্য আকাশে বাংলার তোমার লেখনী এঁকেছিল ছবি নিপীড়িত জনতার।
We also remember one of the most popular Indian authors of all time, Sarat Chandra Chattopadhyay, who died on 16th January 1938. He championed the cause of the women and oppressed castes. In one of his speeches, Chattopadhyay had underlined his philosophy towards writing.
Those who have given their all to this world and got nothing in return, the deprived, the weak, the oppressed, their pain has unlocked my lips.
Chattopadhyay also played a role in India's freedom movement. From 1921 to 1936, he served as the president of Indian National Congress, Howrah branch. His book, Pathe Dabi, is the story of a secret society which aims to free India from the colonial rule.
Its protagonist, Sabyasachi, is the leader of the organization. The story touches upon contemporary issues such as untouchability, orthodoxy, rich-poor divide, and the status of women in the society.
He used to visit villages and mingle with the villagers. The experience that he gathered was a reason of unique and elegant style of his literary works. The great writer passed away on 16th January 1938. We salute the great nationalist writer.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
आजादी के आंदोलन के खजाने में ऐसे ढेरों शब्द जिन्होंने बदल दिए इतिहास, तारीख बदलने वाले लफ्जों पर आकाशवाणी समाचार ला रहा है विशेष कार्यक्रम धरोहर हर सोमवार।
Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase Hallmark gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago.
In the U.S. state of Texas, a male hostage was released unharmed from a synagogue in the town of Colleyville, Dallas this morning. At least 4 persons, including the rabbi, were taken hostage during a religious service last night. Police deployed special weapons SWAT teams. The FBI officials are negotiating with hostage takers to secure the release of the remaining hostages. The hostage taker is demanding the release of the Pakistani scientist Afia Siddiqui, also known as Lady Al-Qaeda. She has been convicted for trying to kill U.S. military officers while in custody in Afghanistan. Siddiqui is currently being held at FMC Carswell, a federal prison in Fort Worth, Texas. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said on Twitter that President Joe Biden has been briefed about the developing hostage situation. India is ready to partner in all aspects of film industry in Bangladesh, including through capacity building support. High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh Vikram Doraiswamy said this during the inaugural function of the 20th Dhaka International Film Festival DIFF in Dhaka yesterday. Mr. Doraiswamy urged the Bangladeshi authorities to consider India's standing request to permit commercial screening of Indian films in theatres in Bangladesh. The High Commissioner said this will help develop film industries in both the countries from the artistic standpoint as well as through increased inflows of investment in the sector. Referring to the Bangladesh-India joint production of the film on Bangabandhu, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, being directed by Shyam Benegal, the High Commissioner said that it will be a production not just for each other, but for the world. He congratulated the organizers for showcasing 34 Indian films during the festival. The film festival is showcasing 225 films from 70 countries. The Lebanese-German film The Anger, directed by Maria Ivanova, was the inaugural movie of the festival.
In cricket, India under-19 team beat South Africa by 45 runs in their ICC Men's Under-19 World Cup opening Group B one-day at Guyana. Put in to bat first, India made 232, losing all wickets in 46.5 overs. Captain Yash Dhul played a brilliant knock of 82 runs. In reply, South Africa were bundled out by good Indian bowling at 187 runs. For India, Vicky Oswal picked up 5 wickets while Raj Bawa took 4. India are placed in Group B alongside South Africa, Ireland and Uganda. India have won the title a record 4 times and were the runners-up last time around. Lakshya Sen stormed into the final of men's singles event at the India Open Badminton Tournament in New Delhi last night. Sen defeated Malaysia's Ning Tri Guong in the semi-final yesterday. He will take on the world champion Loh Keen Yew of Singapore today. In men's doubles, Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy will also play the final today. They take on Muhammad Ahsan and Hendra Setiawan from Indonesia today. The duo cruised to the final, beating France duo William Villager and Fabien Delrue. However, in women's singles, it was curtains for two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu and Akarshi Kashyap after they lost their semi-final matches. Sindhu lost to 6-seeded Thai Supanida Kethong. Harita Manzil, Harinarayan and Ashna Roy also lost their women's double semi-final to Benyapa Amsad and Nunkaran Amsad of Thailand.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will have cold day. Minimum temperature was 6 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 14 degrees. Mumbai is expected to have a mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 20 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 29 degrees. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will vary between 24 and 31 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have fog or mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later. The city recorded a minimum temperature of 13 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 23 degrees is expected. Visakhapatnam will have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The city observed minimum temperature of 21 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 28 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Ghazipur RDX Hall linked to likely Republic Day terror plot, writes Hindustan Times. EC extends ban on rallies in 5 poll-bound states till January 22, reports The Hindu. Won't allow unilateral change of status quo at boundary, reiterates Army Chief, making a statement on the sanctity of the LAC for the 3rd time in 4 days, writes the Sunday Tribune. 24 hours before tweet, Kohli told team he was stepping down, headlines of Sunday Express. Everything has come to a halt for me as test captain. It's now, the paper quotes him as saying, Kohli ends innings as India's most successful test skipper, headlines of Sunday Times. UK returns to India at 10th century stole idol of goat-head Yogini, illegally removed from a temple in UP, reports the Sunday Statesman. Delhi shivers as the maximum temperature drops to season's lowest of 14.8 degrees Celsius, reports Hindustan Times. And finally, Sunday Pioneer reports a strange case of a man from Bokaro who was paralyzed and had lost his voice 4 years ago in an accident, claiming that he has regained his voice and movement after he got a Covishield vaccine shot.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says government is taking concrete steps to strengthen startup ecosystem in India. 16th January to be celebrated as National Startup Day. India marks the first anniversary of launch of nationwide vaccination drive against COVID-19 today. Vaccination coverage approaching 157 crore mark. Ban on physical rallies and roadshows in 5 poll-bound states extended till 22nd of January. Home Minister Amit Shah says excessive use of chemicals fertilizers will increase the risk of cancer by 50% in the next 15 years. In Under-19 Cricket World Cup, India beat South Africa by 45 runs in the group opener. And in India Open Badminton, Lakshya Sen to play men's singles final against Loh Keen Yew of Singapore and New Delhi today. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.